So for today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make patterns. And to do that, we'll be using Flosscross. So I've used it a bunch of times. That's why I have it over here. But for you, just type out Flosscross on whatever browser you choose, whatever browser you're using. Just type out Flosscross, and it will bring this. The first option, which is this one, you click on it, and we'll be learning how to make patterns like from scratch and also from pictures. So if you want to create your own pattern, and if you also want to create patterns from pictures, so you click on this create pattern, and then you can see you have three slots on Flosscross. You have just three slots, and then you have this backups place. So I'll be teaching you how to do this later on. But to create your own pattern, you click on new. For this, for your project on how to size, you need to create a swatch, but I'll be teaching you that later on.
So I'll be explaining how to make a swatch for your colorwork pieces. So the idea around this is to use the hook that you'll be using for your project and the yarn that you want to use for your project to make a swatch. So the standard for a swatch is to make 4 inches wide and 4 inches high. So right now, I already have my foundation single crochet that measures exactly 4 inches, and I'll be making that measures exactly 4 inches, and I'll be making a couple of rows that will equal 4 inches. So I'll have 4 inches high and 4 inches wide. And then when I'm done with that, I'll come back and explain exactly how you're going to use this to know the perfect size for your color work chart. Okay, so I'm done with my swatch. I now have um, 4 inches high. I now have 4 inches high and then 4 inches across. So to make your swatch, you don't have to make it exactly 4 inches by 4 inches. You can make it probably 5 or 6. And then what you're just going to do is to measure exactly 4 inches and count the number of stitches or the number of rows. This is because you cannot always predict how your yarn is going to stretch and all, and how your yarn is going to stretch and all. So it's better when you just make a swatch that is a bit bigger, maybe 5-6 inches, and then just count the number of stitches that makes 4 inches. So that being said, although I made mine exactly 4, that's because I already know the number of stitches that would make 4 inches. So yeah, counting, that means that for this particular piece that I made using a 4mm hook and this yarn, I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17. I have 17 stitches that will give me 4 inches wide. That means 4 inches with my gauge, 4 inches with my tension, with my yarn and my hook is 17 stitches. So I'm going to take a book and then write that down. 17 stitches, 4 inches wide. Then now I'm going to count the number of rows that I have and see how many gives me 4 inches, I mean. So I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I have 14 rows. 14 rows gives me 4 inches. So I'm also going to write that down. 14 rows gives me 4 inches. So now, while making your color work pattern, you need the width and you need the height. So for the width is this, the wide one. So you're going to take this 17 inches that gives you 4 inches, 17 stitches that gives you 4 inches. For my piece, okay, so one other thing that you need is how big you want your final piece to look. What we are doing right now is just to know how to make our pattern. It's just to give us a perfect size for our color chart pattern, but you need the exact size that you want your piece to be. So let's say that I am making a sweater. I'm making a sweater that is supposed to be, the front panel is supposed to be, let's say 20 inches wide and 20 inches high. I'm just going to use that as an example. So my final piece for this is 20 inches wide and 20 inches high. So I'm going to take this is my swatch. I'm going to take this, and I would say 17 stitches gives me 4, then how many would give me 20? So not to confuse you, what you need is your final size, what you want your piece to be. I want my piece to be 20 inches wide. So what I'm going to do is 20 times the number of stitches that gave me 4 inches while I was crocheting. The number of stitches that gave me 4 inches, which is 17 stitches. So multiplied by 17 divided by 4. So this right here will give me the perfect number of stitches that my pattern needs to have to give me 20 inches wide. Not to confuse yourself, I know most crocheters that I've worked with will tell me they're not very good with math, but that is not the issue here. I'm just going to break this down very easy for you. All you need is the final size that your piece is supposed to be. Mine is 20 inches. You have that down, and then when you make your swatch, you count how many stitches gave you 14 inches. Mine is 17, so I'll make that 20 inches that I want my final piece to be multiplied by the 17 stitches divided by 4, because 4 is the number of inches that these 17 stitches gave me. So right now I have this as 5 multiplied by 17, and then this will be how wide my color work chart is meant to be. Same goes for the height. The height, I had 14 rows. 14 rows gave me 4 inches, and my final height for my piece that I want my piece to be is still 20 inches. So I'm going to make it, so this is for how wide I want it to be. So now this is how high I want it to be. So this is 20 multiplied by 14 divided by 4, and then this right here will give me how many rows that I need to make my pattern. So I'll multiply this. I do not have a calculator with me right now, but then this is just what it looks like. I hope you understand my explanation and it wasn't confusing in any way. So let's get back into the video. Although for the video I will not be using this because I'm trying to explain how to make your patterns using Flosscross, but this is just for you to understand how to make a bigger piece while you're creating your own pattern. I hope this was helpful.
So let's say for my pattern I need 30 stitches. Let's say for what I want to crochet I need 30 by 30 stitches. So it's for my width it will be 30 stitches wide, excuse me, and 30 rows. So for the title I'm just going to make it tutorial. For my description, let's say YouTube tutorial. So click on OK, and then it brings you to this. Right here, you already have your grid from 0 to 30 and from 0 to 30. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to zoom in. I just zoomed out. I'm going to zoom in. You can see that I do not have the entire width and height of the pattern on my screen. So I'm going to click on this pan and then just drag it. I'll just drag it. Okay, drag. Yeah. So I have it all here. So let's try to make a smiley face. But before we get into that, we have so many tools that we're working with when it comes to Flosscross. So you have the paint, you have erase, you have pick. I'll be showing you how to use each of those tools as we go on. But moving on, click on this visibility. You have your grids. If you turn the grid off, you do not have the parts where that demarcates your pattern. But I like to leave the grid on because it just makes my work easier for me. Then center lines, that says you won't have those red ones to show you where the center is. And for the ruler, you do not have the part where that shows you it is from 0 to 30 like that. So I'm leaving it on. For crosses. I really do not know what this does, but I just leave it on. For these um, other tools, I really do not know what they do. So, but then I just leave it on because it leads makes my pattern perfect. So this site is actually used for cross stitch. That's why if you select on anyone, you have this cross. But since we're using it for crochet or maybe knitting, I do not know. We're going to click on flat. So once you click on flat, this cross thing is no longer there, and you just have your color. So yeah, let's move on. Moving on, you have undo, and then you have redo over here. I already showed you what this and is for. To adjust to move your pattern to make it centralized. This does the same thing as this one over here. For paint, when you click on paint, that's when you can move around and paint your work. Undo, undo, undo. So erase is to erase your stuff. So I'm going to click on erase and erase this. So when you erase something, it takes it back to, it makes that particular block empty. Just like right now, we do not have any color on this. So let's just move on. Let's make a smiley face for starters. So I would like to make the background black. So I'm going to click on this to add colors, and you have a bunch of colors. This is black brown, but I want it to be black, so I'm going to tap on it, and then I'll search for black since I want my to be exactly black. The color comes up once you hover on that particular block of color. So this is avocado green black, so I want plain black. So I'm going to click on this fill over here, and then I'll just fill the entire part with black. So that's how the fill works. It fills up a particular block once there's nothing on it, or even if you have another color, once you click on that particular area, it fills it up. So for us to understand that better, let's do this. I'm going to click on lines. The lines help you make a straight line perfectly. So you just double tap, and then you put your line how you want it. If you want it to be diagonal, like I said, you could do that. You could also do this however you want your line to be. So yeah, for this example, I just want to show you what the fill does. So right now I'm going to click on fill while I'm using white and just tap on this part. You'd see that it's only this part that turns white because there is another color over here, and then there is that line that I made that was demarcating those two colors, those two sides of my chart. So let's go back, or I could just pardon me, let me just fill it with black. I'll fill this part back with black. So yeah, I want my smiley face to be okay. So let's make a smiley face. So I want my smiley face to be yellow. So let's use shapes. These shapes, you have various shapes that you can use to make your work easier, especially when you're creating your pattern from scratch. So I'll be clicking on this circle. I want it to start from here, that particular row. So okay, so we have this. So I have one black row by the sides and then two on top. So I have my circle. For the eyes, let's use this to make the eyes. So I want the okay, let's make the eyes red. Okay, let's make the eyes red. Um so this is us, okay, like this. Is this centralized? Okay, let's do it like this. Do the same thing over here. Just adjust it till it gets to how you want it to be. The smiley face, I don't think they come with noses. So I'm just going to make the mouth. For the mouth, let the mouth start over here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and then I'm just going to draw a line. Oh, pardon me, I forgot that I still have this clip. So I'm going to click on paint and then draw my line. This is the mouth. So I just drew this with my hand and just drew a curve. But I do not entirely like how this looks, so I'm going to adjust it. So yeah, with this method, you do a lot of adjusting by yourself because you're the one creating the pattern. So however you want it to look, that is exactly how it is going to look. So ah, my bad. Okay, so I think the mouth is okay like this, or yeah, I think it's okay like this. I should probably increase the eyes because it's making it look quite small. So I'm going to make this part yellow. I'll make it back yellow by filling it up, and then I'll choose my shapes. This is click on red, and then let's adjust this. But before that, this looks far. I had to pause the video actually. So let me bring it zoom in a bit. So yes, shape for my eyes, and okay, let's see. Okay, I think this looks good. Too close. Let's do that again. Okay, I think this looks good. This other side, same thing. Yeah, I think this looks good. So we're done with this pattern. If you'd like to change the colors, so yeah, let's make this red blue instead. So you just click here, click on replace color, and click whatever blue you'd like. Or if you want to make it red, you already have red on your chart, so you can just click on this change color for crosses and click on black. Also, on this chart, we have just three colors, not like two colors that we're using, just the yellow and the black. So what we're going to do to remove colors that we're not using is click on these three dots over here and then remove all unused colors. So we have just the ones that we're using right now. And then we're done with this. To download this, you just click on this sandwich thingy and then click on export. So each of these have what they do, but the only one I actually use is edit and view. So for the edit, you can have this select color menu. You can do that over here, so we do not entirely need it. Undo, redo, you have that over here already. And then, but then you can also change your chart. So right now we have two um blocks of black on top and at the bottom, but I can make it one each. So I'm going to click on this change side chart, then -1 from the top, -1 from the top, -1 from the bottom. So right now my new height is 28 and my width is still 30. So I'll click on OK, and then my pattern has been adjusted. So to download this, you just click here, click on export, click on PDF. I can preview what my pattern will look like. This is what my pattern will look like. The name that I gave it, tutorial, the description is over here, and then this is what my pattern looks like. And then you have this. For this, you can also make certain adjustments. You can edit all of this if you like. You can undo this. That's adjusted, is no longer showing the canvas, although that doesn't entirely make any difference to me. But yeah, page setup, you can turn this into one. For this pattern setup, turn it into one so that by the time you want to print, or okay, let's say you're working on this has reduced, so this will just take up just one page. But for this pattern that is not big, we can just leave it at 3. We can leave it at 3. Yeah, that's basically all that you need to know. As for me, I'm just going to leave them as they are, and then you just save to PDF and click on OK, and then it is saved on my laptop. So that is all on today's tutorial. My next tutorial will be talking about how you create your patterns from pictures. So subscribe for more. See you soon. Bye.